Hey guys, David here and welcome to the Fit Pro Daily. This week is all about sales and we're going to kick it off with a brilliant interview. Today we have Neil Godley coming on, and Neil is going to come on and share with us the art of selling, okay? We're going to talk about how to, first of all, generate leads so the leads are ready to be sold to, how to pre-qualify clients, and then how to sell to the clients or the prospects to really make sure that they're with you for the long run. But before we do dive into the interview, make sure you do subscribe below by clicking that big red button. That way you'll never miss any future episodes. But for now, let's dive straight into the interview. Hey guys, David here and welcome to today's episode. Today we have Neil Godley here, and Neil's coming on to talk about sales and to kind of give us an insight into how he's managed to grow such a successful face-to-face small group business. Is that what you got?
Yeah, I've got small. I started off as a gym, but
Yeah.
it's now small group training and one-to-one training for the over 40s, really.
Nice. We had a quick chat before we started this, and I have a feeling it's going to be quite a special interview today, as his setup itself is quite a unique one. And then obviously what he's going to teach us at the same time is obviously going to really help a lot of us. But we start every episode off the same way. How did you get into the fitness industry?
Well, it's a funny one, actually. So originally I was a painter and decorator. And one day I had an accident at work, basically. And on the way home, I thought, I just can't do painting and decorating. I'm rubbish at building. I need to find something that I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
And I've always trained. I was a good runner. I was going to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. But my mindset was that you had to be really clever to go to college and stuff to learn. But on the way back from that day, I met a friend and he told me he's just doing a college course in health and fitness. Back then, you didn't have the vast amount of, that's 27 years ago I've been in the industry. So back then you used to go to college and get a diploma, or YMCA was pretty much the only qualifications out there. And I started college, and I did a year course, and then coincidentally after that year, Middlesex University opened up a lottery funded gym, and I jumped in there and started my career that way. After about 3 years of working with Middlesex University, I then went to university because they funded it, and I did sports rehabilitation. And then that was 4 years. After that, I kind of went on my own. I'd had about 15 years of freelance personal training and kind of sports rehabilitation, as well as kind of working in and out of local gyms. And then in 2010, I thought, bugger it, I'm going to do it myself, and opened up my own club.
Nice.
And that's a very brief history of my kind of career so far.
Okay. A question a lot of people ask a lot is, when did you know was the right time to go from working for somebody else, doing all this as somebody else, to actually going it alone and opening your own place?
I'm a big believer of, respecting my peers, respecting my leaders, and respecting the people that I'm working for. And I just felt that no matter how much hard work I put in, I always felt like I was being suppressed a bit, so I couldn't grow. And, I had about 4 years of that, working towards resistance with certain management and stuff like that. So then I thought, well, if I can do it for them, I can do it for myself. And I mean, really, my end goal was always to open up my own gym. Like, you've just got something inside of you. But there wasn't a real time that made me do it. But I suppose I just had enough of the routine leisure industry, really. And I felt that I could produce something better on my own,
Okay. And then the next question is, how did you fund opening a gym? Because I get asked this question all the time, and I have to tell them I got a few credit cards out. But how did you fund opening?
Yeah, you've been there. It was the era of the kind of 0% credit cards and stuff like that. I was quite surprised, actually. I think underneath all of it, you kind of think, well, I won't get credit and stuff like that. But you're surprised what's available if you just ask. And I think the bank gave me a loan for like 30 grand between the group. It was a personal loan. And then I funded that. And then it was just like, I don't know where I got the money from. Once I committed, I had credit cards, I had a little bit of money put aside.
Yeah.
And, you just get through it, you survive and you get through it. And, as long as you don't have these big dreams of opening up a gym with everything that you want in it, I think, it's manageable for like around about 50 grand, 60 grand. You can open up a really nice facility, I think.
Yeah, and that is kind of the aspect a lot of people go. So when we opened ours, it was get the bare minimum that was multi-use, and then add as we grow, where a lot of people kind of want to dive straight in and they spend so much money that they've got so much debt behind them.
And you just can't run a business like that. You have to run a business whereby you're thinking about serving your clients and not the pressure of paying off money, because then you go from a comfortable situation of having a client base, say, to running a gym, and now you've got all the added extras of staff costs and loans. And if you're in a position to have be lucky enough to think, right, I'm going to jump in, do it at a pace that you feel is realistic. And another way that you can jump from opening your facility now is, as we carry on, a lot of people don't realize what an asset they've got when they've actually got a database or a client base. Now, if you get those people, this is what I recommend to quite a few people now, and it's worked with a lot of people that I've worked with. If you take those people, get them on a reoccurring contract, you can then go to the bank and say, well, look, I've got a business. This is how much money it's taking, and this is how much I'm going to take over a year. And you can actually show them that you've got, a valid business that could pay back the debts as well.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. Like you say, if you can almost prove to the bank or whoever you need to borrow the money off that they're going to get paid back, it should be no problem.
Yeah.
So you've got this gym. The first thing we need to do is try and figure out how we're going to get interested people in our gym. And this is before we dive into all the sales stuff. So how did you generate interest for people to come and want to work with you?
Well, I mean, originally we was a members only club, and we kind of realized that, in the first year, I mean, in the first 2 years, we got up to about 650 members. We won Best New Gym in Great Britain, the National Fitness Awards. But we realized how much costs were involved in that. So we realized we had to change our model. So, and get better margins. So we went from a members only gym to a members only personal training small group gym.
Yeah.
And the thing that we changed was, when people called up, we just started advertising more about personal training. And we just started asking people, so are you calling about personal training? And we found by just using this part of communication, it really did start driving our business forward. You naturally assume people are calling up about membership, but we just said, oh, so you're calling about the personal training? And slowly we became known as a personal training club. Obviously, when we first came out, Facebook was, I think you could get a lead for 50 pence. And then I got some help. I got some help with my messaging, and we started to attract the over 40s. Now, over the period of time of being a members only club, organically, we kind of were doing quite a lot of personal training. So we just took the people that were the most enjoyable to work with.
Yeah.
And we focused on putting our message to those, the over 40 message. I mean, I'm not great with messaging. So we used a mentor to help us to put that message out there.
Yeah.
And then we used a Facebook specialist. I believe in using people that can do it to drive you forward. And then with that, before we know it, we had like 200 personal training, small group training members that were all on year contracts. And it was just like, wow, we actually transformed our community from a members only club to a personal training only club during the time when everyone was really scared, because generally the trend was to lower your prices, because that's when like the low budget clubs come in.
Okay. Yeah.
But we actually raised our prices from 50 quid to 200 to 400 pounds a month. And, we're still there when a lot of the other clubs have shut down.
Why do you think it made a difference then that you niche down to your over 40s men, or is it just over 40s in general?
It's over 40s in general.
Why do you think that made a big difference to doing a specific niche than just everybody?
Personally, I think, and I'm not mocking any big gyms or big corporations, but I think the low budget clubs, regardless of what happens, they're still kind of a personal training model, but they're very big. And when you go in there, they can be quite cliquey. And I think what that did, that sent the wrong message to my demographic of over 40s. We get a hell of a lot of clients coming from the big gyms now. And I just think we offered that support that they were looking for. And, they jumped on board, and we get them in our process for a minimum of a year commitment. And, we were just offering something that wasn't available in the big clubs. That kind of was taken away when the kind of low budget gyms started appearing. There were certain aspects from the normal gym that were diluted, and people missed that, like the support, the instructor giving you support all the time and getting your free programs. That element of being looked after was kind of diluted a bit. And that's why people started jumping over to the personal training model, I think.
Yeah, you'd be surprised by the amount of people who need more than just training sessions. If you can package it up to have everything, so you're holding them accountable and support and everything else that comes with it, it's much easier to sell the programs.
Yes, yeah. So we took it away from 10 packs. I mean, we at one point we were selling 10 packs, and it was taking 3 months to get rid of them. But as soon as we got the more committed client, a minimum of 8 sessions a month, our retention rate went through the roof. Our turnover of personal training sessions went much quicker, and our results got better. And we were able to position our personal training model as a program rather than buy 10 sessions with a trainer. We was, when you join our program, you get your sessions, you get your assessments, you get your food diaries looked at, you get your assessments, you get a program, you get full use of a gym, which is quite a big selling point, because a lot of studios that you go to, you can't go there unless you've got a session.
Yeah, that's true. That's the situation we have.
Yeah,
sessions, and that's it. Yeah, but we were talking to Carl last week on the episode, and he was saying a lot of people have that issue of they sell a pack of 10.
Yeah.
But that person might only want one session a month.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck because you've got to guarantee those sessions, one a month.
Yeah, and then they go away, and then they come back and they want the sessions. You've just got to make sure that you've got a rhythmic system going on. And, we hold all of our trainers accountable. They have to deliver 95% of their sessions a month, obviously, unless somebody's ill or injured. But then we also have a low user system. If people don't come for a week, then we put them in kind of a extra care system and pull them along and give them the support that they need. And through that, we started that 5 years ago now. We've now eliminated, after COVID, we don't sell membership anymore. Because believe it or not, those that paid us the less money were the ones that gave us the biggest hassle, which you've probably heard before, right?
A million times. Yeah. So the systems and stuff that you're talking about, that's something we can go into on a completely different episode, because like you say, there's those points you need to know if somebody doesn't turn up for a while. What do we do to re-engage them? Look at the end of their usual lifetime value. How do we then be able to boost them in a couple of months? But today is all about sales. So let's kind of dive into that then. So this episode is close more sales, earn more money, and gain greater clients. Tell us a little bit more about what that kind of headline means then.
So, close more sales. There's a big thing in the industry, which I've seen, and I don't know where it comes from, but the harder it is to close a client, from my experience, the less commitment they're going to have. Okay. So the idea of closing more clients is really about getting those clients who want to work with you. Okay. So what is sales? Well, sales is merely, you know, presenting a solution to somebody's problem. Okay. If you can be seen as the trainer or the facility that can home in on a niche and offer a solution to the problem that person's in, then you will sell more. You will sell more memberships, and you won't really. I've put close in there because it's kind of like a buzzword. I mean, 100 times a week I'm asked, how do you close people? Well, you close people by knowing what they want and presenting what you do and making sure that presentation relates to the pain that person's in. Okay, so you know, all your messaging that goes out there needs to be based around that person and what they're feeling, and you know how you can solve it. You don't want to be too selly. And the second thing is, you know, you don't want to be presenting your services like based on a price, because if you do that, you're always going to get priced out. You know, you want people that really want a problem to solve, and then you be seen as the expert at doing it. And if you can do that, the close is literally, so Mrs. Smith, based on what you want to achieve, you know, losing 3 stone, I recommend the 8 or the 12-month program, with the 12-month being the better rate. Yeah. And then you'll find that that's as hard as a close needs to be. If you get the right person through the door. I think the problem that people have is, and I know with your clients, you help them through the whole process, but I think what people do these days, they're looking for a magic campaign that a very good marketer does. Yeah. But then they put the message out there, and then when they come in or when they get on the phone and speak to the person, they don't have a process that describes the marketing that's going out there.
Yeah. No.
Okay. So
at what point does your sales start then? Would it before the advert, or would you class your sales to start?
So we have, first of all, which was the hardest thing to overcome, was you've got to be in a position to not think you can sell to everybody. Okay, so on our Facebook ads, we have the first pre-qualification, and that goes into commitment. You know, can you afford this much money? And then basically we get that information in, and if someone fills out a full application process and they say they can afford you, then we get on the phone and we pre-qualify them. Okay, and we pre-qualify them on price, ready to commit. We will be asking you to make a decision on the night, and is there anybody else involved in you making a decision? Now, at first I thought, well, you can't ask people that, but you don't have to do it like, right, okay, I'm going to ask you to make, you just turn it into a conversation, you know. So Mrs. Smith, you know, our programs range from £199 a month to £400 a month. Is that something that you're willing to invest in? Well, yeah, probably the £200 one, you know, that's generally what they say sometimes. And that would be our small group training. Yeah. The second one is, you know, and the reason why we ask those 4 questions is because they're the objections that you're going to get. You might as well eliminate the objections before you get into a meeting and then they're objecting it and then you go into meltdown. Do you know what I'm saying? So we object on price. I want people in front of me that I know that can afford my services. This is the big thing, because it goes back from experience. It goes back to the harder it is to get somebody in your program, the more objections they create, the more of a nightmare client they're going to be, from my own experience. So you shouldn't feel that you've let yourself down if you don't close somebody. It just means you need to strengthen up that process to get them in front of you. Okay, so we have a pre-qualification process, and that's based on, so this is what you'll get at the end of a consultation if you don't pre-qualify them. Oh, I can't afford it. I need to go away and think about it. Okay. Oh yeah, I've got a few things on at work. I just need to, you know, I just need to go and look at my diary. But, you know, that's why you ask them, are you ready to commit? Yeah. You tell them a minimum commitment period. Mine is 16 weeks. And you tell them it's a minimum of twice a week. Yeah. So you're setting them up to understand what your program's about. That's the biggest change in my sales process. And then the last thing is the objection that you can't really overcome is I've got to go and speak to my partner about it. You see, so by asking that up front, yes, you do eliminate people, but those people are just going to make the sales process not very nice for you, because it's nothing worse than sitting in front of people and they just say, no, I can't do it right now. I've got to give it a couple of weeks before I know my diary and stuff. So the first thing is the pre-qualification. That's the most important process. Yes, it does mean you have to turn people away. Yeah. However, if you've done your marketing right, you'll get people in front of you that really want to change something about them. And it's more about changing an emotional response than money. Okay.
So just quickly then, this pre-qualification, do you start that in the Facebook advert, or would you start that in the booking phone call?
Yeah, so I start that on the application. Okay, so people fill out an application, and on that application, it's basically said, our programs start from 16 weeks. Is that something you can commit to? Yes. Our programs range anywhere from £50 to £80 a week. We've experimented with a month and a week, and the week got more conversion.
Yeah.
And then then once we've done that, we set up a call. We actually, once they filled that out, they can book a call on Calendly. We call them up at a time that they request. I like seeing the form, the application, and the Calendly come up all at once, because pretty much when I see that, I know they're going to be a client.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we do the pre-qualification. Everybody in the building is trained how to do that, because we can't have people calling up and people giving the wrong information. Okay, I don't really try and sell on the phone. I do sometimes sell. It'll either be face to face, or during COVID, it was obviously like go to meeting or something like that. But it's still the same thing. We still, before they get in front of me, we pre-qualify them.
So you've done the application form, somebody's completed the application form, you then phone them up and go over the application form and book them in for a consultation, then do you?
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how is the conversation for the sales part when they're in front of you going to go?
So what we do is we have so we do a client consultation, client interviews, and it's based on building their problem. I go from the premises of 2 eyes, 1 mouth. Okay. And the reason you do that is you listen and you speak very little, right? Hence the 2 ears, 1 mouth. So you interview them, you build their problem. So for instance, so tell me a little bit about your goals. I want to lose a few stone. Okay. So what have you done in the past? They'll tell you what you've done in the past. And then you'll say, tell me why that work out for you. And you're kind of building the problem in a nice way. Yeah. And then you relay it back to them. So you do the interview, and then you say, so Mr. Smith, what you're telling me is you want to lose a few stone. You've tried in the past many times to do a program, but you've said you just haven't got the motivation to carry on, or you get a bit confused. Is that correct? Yes. Well, let me tell you a little bit about what we do at the club here. All right. So that technique is called holding up the mirror. Okay. You're not allowed to put your own spins on what they've said. You ask the questions, and then at the end of it, you repeat it back, and then you say, well, this is how we're going to solve the problem. Okay. And then I go through a presentation, and in that presentation, it highlights everything that we do, everything that's involved in the program. All the support that we're going to do, how many sessions you have a week, what extras you get, and you really tailor that program to the solution that person's looking for. And then we have a price presentation at the end, and we do 2, 3 or 4 sessions a week. Now the secret is to present to the person what they need in order to hit their result. Don't hold back. If somebody needs to train 4 times a week and they've got a history of not going to the gym, then present to them your four times a week program. And then that way, at the end, I think my close rate is probably some months like 100%, because I've taken that resistance out by doing the pre-qualification.
Yeah, that makes sense. So the questions you're asking then, where you're holding a mirror up to them, is there a number of questions you ask, or is there specific questions you have to ask?
Yeah. So first of all, we're delving into the problem. So we're asking them what they're doing. Yeah. Then we kind of, go into something emotional. So how would it make you feel if you lost that few stone? How would it make you feel if your back pain got better? Yeah. And then you go in. So it's only about 5 or 6 questions. It's just really designed to build the problem so that you can then present your solution, because that's what sales is. Yeah. If you're confident enough that what you do can cure somebody, then, you just present that to the right people and get your marketing on point. And really what you've got is a process that doesn't involve any like resistance, any icky sales, if you like,
So when you've asked these questions, you then present to them a presentation on the program. Right. Why do you think that's an important point?
Well, the presentation really, it shows, it's nothing about me. It's nothing about the club. It shows what they get and what people have achieved. And what that does, that shows them that we've got a community of people just like them that have achieved what they want to do. So you're showing them real life situations of people that have, been successful, and it kind of puts the emphasis on the solution that you've got. Yeah, you're not saying we've got this treadmill, we've got these equipment. It's all very based on the emotion that person's feeling. Now, in order to you build that problem so that they are just ready to buy, because it's the emotion that's going to sell. It's not for my business anyway. I rely very much on, I'm not tricking people, by the way. I'm not being unethical. I'm just building that problem. And what that does is, to the person, it makes them think, wow, these guys really understand what I'm going through. I really want to be a part of this. And then, as I said, the money part is literally a sentence. So, Mrs. Smith, I recommend the 8-month or the 12-month program.
Yeah, because the presentation where you're showing them what they get, that's building up the value then. So in their head, they're trying to work out how much they're getting, but they can also visualize what is they're receiving from you. Instead of you just saying you're getting these sessions and this and that, they can actually physically see.
Yeah, they want to see the emotional value and the reward, and that you care for them, so, and that people in your situation have gone from where I am to where I want to be. And that's why you always add social proof into your presentation as well. And then the end part is just the actual price presentation, and that's that's, you keep it simple. You either have small group and one-to-one training, and that's all I present.
Yeah. Okay. And then so you tell them the price. Do you then explain to them why you think this is the better option for them, or do you present the price and then kind of just not say anything and wait for them?
Yeah. So what I would do, I would line it up. So I would say something like, because 4 times a week, if you present that as a 12-month commitment, then that can, say £500 a month for 12 months can seem quite a big commitment. Do you know what I mean? So what I do is I say, well, look, this is what I recommend for you. For the first few months, we could do, 3 or 4 times a week at this rate. And then we could drop down to the small group training at this rate. And then what they see is they see like, right, I'm going to really get a good head start, and then I'm going to drop down. And then they see the contrast of the 2 prices, because they'll see the contrast between like, kind of 450 quid. And then they'll see the small group training, which is 198. So then they think, oh, that's not too bad actually, because straight away they think, oh, well, I'll do that for 3 months and then I'll go down to the 198. So you've always got to show that contrast. And an important thing as well, you don't mention discount. You mentioned, we reward for commitment. So the longer you commit, the better rate you'll get, and the more chances you'll get of actually achieving your goal. And I'm even as cheeky as this. So where it says 4 months, I kind of put kind of serious, and then where it's 8 months, want to transform,
Good.
and then at the top, totally committed. I'm in for the long run. Yeah. And then during the sales pattern, you use words. So, it looks like you're in for the long run. Do you know what I mean? And people say, yeah, I am. I want this. Because by now, you know that you're speaking to committed people because they've said they can afford you. It's like when you go on Amazon and you see something, you'll always pay £10 or £15 more. You know what I mean? Because also, you don't mind, once you've committed to something, you don't mind spending a little bit more, as people just will,
So we've got super interested people that you want to work. We've gone through the presentation. Yeah. We've told them the price. How do you then take payments?
So it's simple. We've got a system set up. We just set them up. We take their card details. They're then put in our CRM.
Yeah.
The CRM comes with an app. It's a good system because the reason why we've gone for this one, what we do with all of our trainers, we give them kind of basic hours and we give them personal training hours. So if they do a personal training client, and I let them do shifts as well. So I let them do it on shifts because I don't want them working morning, noon and night, so the idea is to build up their shifts so that they're doing just clients. But yeah, we take their payment and we can set payments for 12 months. And then what we do, we can say, well, what are your best days to train? And they might say Tuesday and Saturday morning. So I just say to them, would you like me to book that for the next year? And they say, yeah. So then we book it for the next year. So now we know they're in the system for the year. They know that Tuesdays and Saturdays, they've got something booked in. And then it just gets taken out on a monthly basis. It's very important to have something that doesn't allow them to think about money. You know what I mean? That's why you should always get people on a minimum commitment period. That's automatic, because otherwise every month they're if the payment system messes up, it makes them start thinking about the money. Yeah. And if they start thinking about the money, it just becomes aggravation for them. So it's very important that you do have an automated system in place. And what you should really only have to do that like money exchange once. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. And then they've paid, is it some sort of welcome pack or induction or what happens from there?
So they've paid, and then we put them on an onboarding. We show them how to book their sessions. We give them like some, a towel and a water bottle on their first visit. We don't send it to them, but on their first visit, we give it to them. And, that's all we do really. We just give them a towel and a water bottle. Because people like that. It seems to be the thing that people love the most. It just does. Yeah. And then then they get stuck in. I don't really have much to do with it. We have monthly meetings and we talk about every client in every meeting, because what you've got to be aware of is that you've got to keep on track of your clients and know where they are. Know if they're not coming in, and then start that low user experience. Really call them up, look after them, bring them in, and force that reaction again or reactivation.
Again, let's let you say systems and things need to get increased, but again, completely different, almost talk show or interview for that. So to finish this one off, then, is there any final tips or tricks or things that people should consider when doing the sales, whether it be a face-to-face, a phone call, or like you said, the start doing ads or whatever?
I think the key thing is to, make sure that you're putting the message out there. Make sure you understand your client really well. Make sure that you've got a follow-up process. So once someone fills out their form, make sure you've got a follow-up process that kind of strengthens the sale. Make sure you've got a system in place to call people, to pre-qualify them. It's not so important in the Facebook like ads, but it's another way of creating less resistance. And make sure you've got a really good sales process that interviews the client, is designed to build the problem and offer the solution. And the way you offer the solution is by presenting, and do the same thing all the time, because the more you do something, the more confident you get and the more you'll present to them. Don't be scared of taking, the better you serve a client, the more money you take, the more healthy your business will be, and the better you can serve your clients at the end of the day. So that's my real tip for sales.
Perfect. No, thanks. So how can people find out a little bit more about these kind of systems or sales tricks that we've been talking about?
I mean, I do, my business is the Art of Fitness Sales. I've got a Facebook group, the Art of Fitness Sales. And if anybody inboxes me, then I can do a sales audit with them, go through their sales process, and tell them exactly what I do in my business to strengthen up their process. It's a free, it's not a sales call or anything like that. And then if they want to follow up and work with me a little bit, then I can definitely help them there.
Perfect. Cheers. Okay, so that was Neil, and what a great interview it was. Okay, Neil went into great detail on a number of topics, and you could really see from Neil as well, he's quite passionate about it, and he came with a few different ideas to other episodes we've had about sales. So if you want to go back to it, go back to the video, record, rewatch it again, take some notes, and it's really going to help you with your sales. Like I said, this week is all about sales, so make sure you do subscribe below so you don't miss any of the episodes we have this week. I'll speak to you all tomorrow. Cheers.